So we are reading the writings of Rash. The article What is he who is without sons? In the work you can find the study material on. You can send questions live through the sites. Anyone asking a question in the study hall should stand up, hold the microphone close to his mouth and speak loudly and clearly. The writings of article What is he who is without sons? In the work our sages said any person without sons is regarded as dead. There writes a man without sons is called barren, and his wife is called barren. Like wise Torah without mighty commandments is called barren. For this reason we learn that it is not the learning that is the most important, but the ACT. Also in the Z it says the Torah is called a tree, as it is written, it is a tree of life for they who hold it. Also man is a tree, as it is written, for man is the tree of the field, and the mighty. The commandments in the Torah are his fruits. In other words, since the Torah and man are called tree, therefore as a tree does not bear fruit is e'en to a barren person who begets nothing, so man and the Torah are called barren if they have no sons. We should understand this. We can understand that a man and a tree who do not bear are called barren if a person learns to but does not observe the of the Torah. Why is the Torah called barren? Why is it the fault of the Torah if a person does not want to observe the mitzvah in the Torah? In this regard he references what our sages said. Great is the learning that leads to action. This means that the Torah should lead to action, and if it does not, it is though the Torah is to blame for not leading to action. It is as though the fault does not lie with the person but with the Torah. Can this be to understand the above said? We should understand the whole issue of Torah, and that the Creator gave us, and for which we bless him for this gift, as we say, who has chosen us from among all the nations and has given us his law. We understand the matter of Torah in two ways, as it is written in the N are called deposits or commands, as well as 613 counsels or tips. The difference between them is that in all things there is panim anterior and a posterior. The preparation for something is called a posterior, and the attainment of the matter is called panim anterior or face. Similarly in and there we shall do and we shall hear when observing to mitzvah as doers of his words before prior to being rewarded with hearing the mitzvah are called 613 counsels and are regarded as a posterior or back when rewarded with hearing the voice of his word. 613 mitzvah become deposits or commands from the word pon deposit. This is so because there are 63 mitzvah, and in each mitzvah the light of a unique degree is deposited, and this is the pan of the mitzvah. We should know and understand the matter of TMIT in general and how doing pertains there, and what is the meaning of hearing. That is, if hearing is the most important, what purpose does one need to begin the order of the work as doers of his word, which is called a why do we not begin with called right away? It seems as though this work is pointless. It is known that there are two matters before us, the purpose of creation and the correction of creation. The purpose of creation is that his desire is to do good to his creations, meaning that the created beings will receive from him delight and pleasure. For this reason he created in the creatures a desire to receive the pleasure in order to calm the yearning that exists in the created beings. The CLE vessel, namely the desire to receive delight and pleasure, comes from the Creator because he created it for his purpose. For without yearning for something it is impossible to enjoy it. It is known that the whole pleasure from something can be received only according to the yearning for it. This is the meaning of the pleasure, and it does not matter what a person wants, but the yearning for something makes it important. The CLE that comes from the Creator has completeness. That is, whether a person sees that he can elicit pleasure from something, he promptly does all that he can to obtain the pleasure. But that the creatures must make is an oppositeness of form from the CLE of the Creator, and this is very difficult to do because it contradicts the quality of the CLE that the Creator created. A person cannot create this seal. As our sages said, man's inclination overcomes him every day, and were it not for the help of the Creator, he would not overcome it. The question is, if a person cannot overcome it, what must he do? If only the Creator can give the Overcoming over the evil inclination. The answer is that a person must begin the overcoming, meaning he must see that he has a desire to defeat the evil inclination. If a person has no desire to defeat it, how can he be given help? Means that a person wants something that is difficult to obtain, then it can be said that he is given help to obtain what he wants. But when a person has no desire, how can we say that we are helping him get something that makes him suffer? Help means that a person is given help so he will enjoy, not that he is given help so he will suffer. For this reason, if a person truly wants to do the work of the Creator in Lishma for her sake, which is in order to bestow, he must want to do everything for the sake of the Creator. When a person truly wants to work for the sake of the Creator, the body begins to show its might, that it wants a person to do everything specifically for one's own sake, and resists this work with all its might, presenting him with all the arguments of the spies that it is right. Then if someone comes and helps him, that person will be happy with his and will be very grateful for the help. Then it can be said that he's receiving help from above. As our sages said, he who comes to purify is aided. If a person did not begin this work, two things are missing. One, he thinks that he does not need help. He can do this if he wants to, that he is a man, therefore he has no need for help. It follows that he has no CLE for their light. Two, if he does not exert in order to achieve the state of all your works will be for the sake of the of heaven, and he does not even want to be given the strength not to work for his own sake, but for the sake of the Creator. Instead, he wants to work for his own sake. If he hears that by observing to and mitiv he will have nothing for his own sake, he regards it as a curse, not as a blessing. For this reason, he must begin this work on his own. Then he gradually acquires a desire that it is worthwhile to work for the sake of the Creator, and the procession of ascents and descents begins for him. That is once he sees that it is worthwhile to work for the sake of the Creator, and once he surrenders to the argument of the body which asks, what is this work for? You working for the sake of the Creator through the ascents and descents, he begins to understand the benefit in working in order to bestow, and what he loses if he cannot emerge from self love. A person overcomes and does not escape the campaign, but overcomes and increases his prayer that the Creator will help him and give him the help required to be able to emerge from receiving for himself. Then he needs great overcoming to believe that the Creator will help him. That is, he must believe that everything he sees, that it is harder to emerge from the control of the receiver, and sees that each time he begins to see that his evil is worse than that of others, at that time he must say that now the Creator will certainly help him, because now I have come to know the truth that without the Creator's help it is impossible. All the actions he contemplated doing so as to help him emerge from the control of the receiver did not help him. On the contrary, the receiver grew stronger and shows greater resistance to the work. In order to bestow at that time, a person must overcome and not yield to the counsel of their spies, but overcome above reason that the Creator will help, as our sages promised us. He who comes to purify this aided, however, from where can one receive the strength to overcome so he can have faith in the sages? This is only by the power of the Torah. It is as our sages said, the Creator said, I have created the evil inclination, I have created the Torah as a spice. That is through the Torah he receives the power to overcome during the war, when he must acquire vessels of darkness, so that afterwards he will have the discernment as the advantage of the light from within. The darkness follows that the tar sustains him during the work until the Creator knows he has him that are suitable to receive the light, and then he is rewarded with 613 deposits or commandments. However, during the work, while he still has spice, the and are called 6,133, meaning 613 counsels how to be saved from the spies. When a person engages in tea and mitiv, he should aim that the reward he wants for his work will be the strength to fight against the spies. It follows that he wants the Torah to give him this reward, does not receive this strength, then the Torah is like a tree that does not bear Fruit or a person who has no sons, in other words, that did not beget. For him the sons which are the powers to fight against the spies when the Torah does give him the strength, it is called a tree that bears fruit, and it is like a person who has sons. By this we will understand what we asked, why is man like a tree? It means that both must yield fruit, and as the tree must be given what it needs in order for it to bear fruit, which is called killing the land, so man must give himself the nourishment he needs in order to be able to achieve the goal called 613 deposits, meaning to observe, and the aim that the light in it will reform him. Teach, we need action, which is to turn the will to receive for oneself, is man's tool of action into vessels of bestow. This is called turning the vessels of reception into vessels of bestow. This is called action. That is, since man is unable to do this action, then as the Creator gave us vessels of reception, he should give us vessels of bestow. However, there is no light without a cle, as said above, there is no filling without a lack. For this reason a person must work and execute all the tactics at his disposal in order to satisfy that need. To the extent of his work he receives a need for the Creator to help him in this. At that time the Creator gives these tools of action called vessels of bestow. This is done through tea, and since the light in it reforms him, this is the meaning of what is written, which God has created to do. As said, created means something new, existence from absence. This refers to the will to receive, which is something new, because before he created it there was no concept of reception in reality. It follows that the Creator created the will to receive, and the creatures must turn it into a desire to bestow. This is the meaning of to make of it a desire to bestow. We cannot change the work of creation, and if the Creator created it in such a way that the will to receive is what operates, how can it be changed? The answer is that man must seek advice how to come to the desire for it. This is called doing, although we said that a person cannot do this, but the Creator himself must do this. Since we cannot change the work of creation, it is still named after the person. We can understand this through what be said about the verse, will give wisdom to the wise. Asked, it should have said, will give wisdom to the fools. He replied, that wise is he who seeks wisdom, although he still does not have it, for a fool does not seek wisdom. As was said, the fool will not desire wisdom. For this reason, when a person seeks advice and tactics how to obtain vessels of bestow, this is called doing, as was said to do. By this we can interpret what is written. It is not the learning that matters most, but the work. The Z brings evidence that if he has nov, but only Torah, he is called barren, and the Torah is called barren, since the Torah has no fruits which are, and man has no sons. This implies what our sages said, any person without sons is regarded as dead. When we speak of work, this will mean that one who has no mitzvah is considered barren, as the Zohar likens him to the Torah when it says, tree of life. Also man is a tree of the field, means that the Torah being called barren, if he has no mitzvah, was said about the person, that is, a person must know that for him the Torah is barren if the Torah he's learning does not lead him to the says about this. For this reason we learn that it is not the learning that is most important, but the ACT. Hence, if the Torah does not have the of the Torah is considered barren. By this we can interpret what we asked. Why is the Torah called bar if a person has no mitzvah? The T is called barren with respect to him because it is not the learning that is the most important, but the act that is, since the Creator said, I have created the evil inclination, I have created the toe as a spice. It means that for a person to be able to defeat the evil in him, it takes the light of the Torah. One who learns Torah but does not intend for the Torah to bring him the light, so he can do his actions for the sake of the Creator, which is against evil inclination. For the evil in man wants to work specifically for one's own sake and resists with all its might aim for the sake of the Creator, and it cannot be defeated. For this reason the Creator has given us the counsel of the power of the Torah, meaning that the Torah should give us the strength through the light in it which reforms him. This means that the Torah turns the bad in a person into good, meaning that through the Torah he can obtain the vessels of his. This is called action, as was said, which God has created to do. It therefore follows that if the Torah does not give the assistance it is meant to give, it is regarded as a Torah being barren in a person, and the person who receives the Torah without the assistance it is meant to give. Both the person and the Torah are called barren, meaning they engender. Now we can interpret what our sages said. Why do wise disciples not yield wise disciples from their sons? Because they do not bless in the Torah. First, the reason for this is very difficult to understand. We see that even simple landlords say the blessing of the Torah when they are invited for the reading of the Torah. They the blessing. So how can it be that wise disciples do not bless in the Torah? First, according to the above said, we should interpret learning to and not aiming. Why are they learning prior to learning the to, meaning what they want to achieve in return for engaging in TOA, since nothing is done unless to bring them some benefit? The answer is that they did not bless in the Torah. First, that is, they did not have the initial intent that the Torah will bring them blessing, and blessing means bestow. In other words, they did not intend for the Torah to give them kim of blessing, meaning vessels of bestow. This is why their Torah cannot deliver sons that will be recognizable as wise disciples. Instead, the tea they learn does not yield for them mitivi, which are acts of bestow. They remain barren, and is barren. In other words, these wise disciples who are learning tar do not beget their sons, meaning the acts called that it will be evident that they come from wise disciples, meaning that they are good deeds called acts of bestow that the light of Torah engendered. This is called wise disciples. Do not yield wise disciples from their sons, mean it is not evident by their actions that they had to be born by the light of Torah, which is called wise disciple. That is, they learn tea, and the light of Torah should yield actions, meaning that all his actions will be for the sake of the Creator and to be rewarded with attention with the Creator, to adhere to the life of lives. Why do they not have it? It is because they did not bless in the Torah first. That is, prior to learning to, they did not aim their minds that they are going to learn in order for the light of tea to bring them this G, the power remedy that will reform them. Accordingly, we can understand what our sages said: any person without sons is regarded as dead, since sons are mitivi, meaning that all the mitivi he does are in order to bestow. This is called the adhesion with a life of lives. Naturally, if he has no vessels of bestow, he is separated from the life of lives and is therefore regarded as dead. As our sages said, the wicked in their lives are called dead. Now we can understand what our sages said about the verse Zion no one demands her, meaning that a demand is required. This means that Zion is called mal, meaning the kingdom of heaven. This means that all of one's actions should be for the sake of the Creator and not for his own sake, as it is written, I remember God and I moan when I see every city built on its ruins, and the city of God lowered to the bottom of the nether world. That is, that which concerns his own benefit is fine, and everyone tries that this will be in utter completeness, but the city of God, which is the holy work, to work for the sake of the Creator. This work is one of Linus. This requires the light of tea. That is, one who learns to before he learns he must have the Torah to give him this light, so he can work for the sake of the Creator. Sounds like that the heart of the matter is that we need assistance from the Torah should be a clear demand before we come to study what I want the Torah to correct in. May they connect it all to doing everything he does for the sake of the Creator. So that's the discernment. Am I working for the sake of the Creator or not? Yes, but the Creator is concealed from a person, and a person's own intention is also concealed from him, meaning it's very difficult for us to discern what is my intention when I do something. So if the two most important parameters are hidden, how can I come and demand from the Torah? Well, let's ask the friends and see. Yes, thank you very much. I'd like to continue the FR question, but from a different angle. We need to answer. He asks you answer, and so forth. He's talking about the gift. It's the gift that we should say thank you every day for what we have here, and I'm Asking the gift is that he has chosen us from among all the nations. On the other hand, the gift is the torty. If we don't awaken it, and don't do it with our intention for the Creator, then it's not tea, it's barren. So I'm asking myself every day I get up in the morning. Here I'm thankful to the Creator for the friends, for the great teacher. For so in the end I'm asking, what should I say? Thankful, thank you for what is a great gift, because in the end I look here, in the end I have to attribute it all to the Creator. So I'm asking, what is the gift here? So you're not answering his question, you bring up your question. No, I want you all to understand I'm interested that you will ask and reply, and ask and respond, so there will be some discussion among you rather than each one throwing a question to the air. So I'm asking, maybe we should attribute it all to the Creator in the end, because we are here, because we have a Creator, because the Creator gave us the Torah, the light that performs, because we have the writings of the Kabbalists. I think we should attribute it all to the Creator. But how? In this process of thinking, how do I attribute it all to the Creator? It doesn't come straight like that. Who can respond? No. Sham, there at the end the answer is in the article itself. For this reason he must begin this work by himself, and then he gradually gets a desire that it is worthwhile to work for the sake of the Creator, and the order of ascents and descents begins in him, meaning once he sees that it is worthwhile to work for the sake of the Creator, and once he surrenders to the complaints of the body, which asks, what is this work for you to work for the sake of the Creator? Through the ascents and descents it begins to understand what is the benefit in working in order to bestow, and what he loses if he cannot. Imar from self-love. I think that's the answer. Who thinks otherwise or can add again, I will that according to what he writes here, that he must begin to do the work, and all the complaints we have. Why? What? For in order to weaken us from really making the effort, all those questions, complaints and arguments and problems from the will to receive. Why do I need to work now? So we have to overcome that as well. Simply work, and as says, it will become revealed to him. What? Someone else, they wanted. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, yes, your permission of I'll read too small exerts. He says a person has to begin by overcoming, and a person has to see that he has a desire to defeat the evil inclination. After, he says, when a person truly wants to work for the sake of the Creator, the body begins to show it might that he wants a person to do everything for his own benefit, and resists this work with all his might. I feel that in the transition between the two, the Creator is given us, letting us build our relation to him from the giver of the gift to the gift, because in the end we have to move the thought process, overcome as from within us, and from that you discover how opposite you are, and you keep needing the Creator's help. My question is the Creator's help, is the performing light actually the Creator? What we draw with our common force? Yes, we thank you. More? No. Okay, no. Questions? Yes. Okay, doing tactics to obtain vessels of best, called doing that which the Creator has created. We should do, meaning man has to do it too. That working in order to obtain vessel of bestow are, if they are not tactics, to what are they? That he will do everything in order to draw the light that reforms, and only by that he can get closer to execution, to doing in the 10 form. Who is barren in learning Torah? Barren is one who has no sons. That means that he can't give birth to good deeds of bestow from his life. 31. What exactly is the time of learning? Can we learn only during the lesson, or can we also learn to during the day? Can be day and night within the Torah. It all depends on the desire, how to aim the desire, how to try to increase the desire. Then this means one studies the Torah. What is the right relation we should have toward the bad that is revealed in us, that this evil comes only in order for us to overcome it, and thus grow? That's why the Creator, he orchestrates the evil for us from Africa. What does it mean to adhere to the life of light? To adhere to the life of light. Lives means the Creator, he is the source, the life, and we have to draw the light that reforms in order to reach the core of life, to adhere to him. Woman, how is it possible to emerge from a state of being barren? That means to try to each time restart the work, and understand everything depends on man and not the Creator, as it says, that which the Creator has created we shall do, meaning make actions of bestow, actions of connection, and in that way the person obligates the creator to help him, and thus by the like that reforms he comes out of in order to receive. That's it for now, thank you. I too wanted to ask why tactics and counselors are called actions. I understand that actions means a person tries again and again and again to do the same thing. Yes, tactics and counsels almost sound like you're looking for something in regular life. Tactics and counsels are about how not to work. Why will tactics not work? Because you're usually tricks or things like that. It sounds almost opposite on the way towards the goal. You have tactics and PLO and counsels of all kinds, all of which should advance you to the goal. Aren't the actions persistent on doing the same thing day in and day out? The action means an effort by which you move away from the will to receive. Yeah, but we learned here too that the counsels are actually the tour itself. It's not like we have any counsels. There's only one counsel. So why do we need to look for PL and tactics every day? We just simply we have one counsel. We just need to persist to continue. No, I don't think this is so. Still, if a person accepts his work seriously, then he sees that each time there is a new thing for him, there are new conditions, new limitations. Therefore, I wouldn't think it's the same thing every time we ask you. You say there's only one thing you need to do. Connect. No, but even in the connection itself there's thousands of various conditions, and as it says, they shall be new to you every day, and so forth. So what is the new thing? How to see that in each and every moment new conditions emerge in your work to get closer to meaning, to the creator and the spiritual nature. So what you would be looking for, how the conditions changed, or how or that the creator gives new condition of 5 minutes ago, or based on what you discover, based on what appears to you. Thank you, Tan. Yes, what does it mean to begin the work? When a person begins the work, basically every moment, every time a person feels that he has to begin, he has a new idea, new some sort of new inspection of sorts, anything. So he starts a new. So there's no specific evil thing here that activates the person. No words interpreted in my own vessels. Is that to begin the work means to do something with my own strength, something of your own strength? Of course, you examine yourself. Do you understand the work? Do you feel the work? You as if we start the work and new once again. You turn to the creator, you ask, you pray, but he writes there that if I don't begin the work, it's as if I'm lying to myself. So to speak, I'm trying to understand what it means to begin the work anew every time. How do I see that I'm in falsehood or in a lie, and I have to begin the work again? See how clean your vessels are, meaning your goal is clean. Your work is clean. How much you really want to help the others first, the 10, and then everyone else, and how you adhere to them and not to yourself. How much you want to invest only in them and see your success there and not in your own pockets. Okay, and so on. Okay, thank you, Ken. Yes, I'm asking everyone should listen to what the friends are saying and be ready to get involved and add and ask us. Well, it's not that I'm working here with each of you individually. That's correct. I like to continue the scrutiny about the process of the work itself, because it says here that gradually a person acquires the flavour. But working in the work itself are there parts that are for the sake of the creator. We doing the work, you get some flavour, and then in the end, you are rewarded with working for the sake of the creator. So in the work itself are there parts that are for the sake of the creator during the ascents and descend. Can I detect them within me? Well, it has to come. That person has to start scrutinizing it so he can feel the for the sake of the creator, because it's something he's rewarded with. But if it's he's been rewarded, how is it connected to the work as an outcome? I have many more questions, but I'll just say we'll see for now. Yes. I'd also like to ask about the PL and tactics and counsels, because he says that a wise is someone who wants to be a wise disciple. For this he needs to seek advice, and Selam also says turn away from all the imaginary engagements and seek advice how to reach love of friends, etc. So there are two things here. There's the power of the will to receive, and there are all kinds of tricks in it. PLO, how to implement it, how to realize it. Yesterday there was a women's lesson Very powerful on the one hand with great power on the other hand. At least I felt that it was kind of in terms of tactics or things, what kinds of tips and counsels that were not really precise and accurate. How do you take the power of the woman within us and maybe the precision of the man within us and combine them? There are many discernments in that too, that says man and woman, and between them that they are as one, and they're also divided between them, and each one can vary in their states with respect to the other, and both of them vary with respect to the Creator. However, we have to make sure first of all that when you take a woman, meaning to have of heaven, so she'll be the daughter of a wise disciple, that is the Creator that you'll have contact with. That will clarify things onwards. I don't know, it's an ocean of things here. I'm asking because I felt a huge desire to advance this kind of aspiration. Powerful to advance, and at the same time, helplessness in terms of how to do it. A men's lesson you can try to see kind of an attempt to make things more precise, and it's very different. I'm asking how to combine these things within us. First of all, we always have to examine ourselves, whether when we engage with the women are we lowering the bar, or not, so they feel that in our work with them we are also demanding to raise the bar. Now what's important is to allow them an opportunity to advance. In the meantime, they don't exactly know, they follow us in some way to a small extent. They listen, but we still don't have the same kind of work with them as the men have, and that's not good. It's not good. Women has to really take the same caution from our study as we get, and we have to move towards that, and in getting closer, human will also gain support, and we are in great need of that, a correct massive support from the other half of their clee. Again, it feels like there's a very, very powerful engine. It's indescribable power, but there's no steering wheel. Directing is the wheel is in each and everyone's hands, to the extent that one organizes his other half, his wife, to be helpmate against him, and then both of them will move correctly. That's why Rash made such an emphasis on that it's necessary that even if a person loses his wife, then within days he should get remarried, and in general it was apparent on him how he was into that very devotedly. I feel like my question is not clear yet. Yeah, that needs it requires changing the man's attitude and the woman's attitude, and try to show how to connect both of them so that man and woman are as one, the female part and the masculine part as one, and they have to complement each. Otherwise, in our time as we're moving towards the complete correction, we will be working with a broken CLE, and nothing will come out of that. Let's say I look at you because you're an example for us. There's a morning lesson where you're facing the men, and in the noon lesson usually most of the questions are women's questions, and in the Shabbat lesson you're facing the women too, and we see that something else comes out of you, something more. I don't know if it's more exhausting or harder, something more powerful. I think when you are facing women, and it's as if we're missing this, we're not with you in this. I don't know, I think that opposite them I am clarifying things which are the bigger half of the CLE. It's difficult to work with them. Also, that you're not the demanding from your women, the devotion they have it, but naturally it's not that it comes from couples, from the relationship between the SB, their spouses. Yes, I'm asking G's question. What was felt yesterday from the gathering of the women was very force that exists here. On the other hand, there was a lot of kind of disbursement, like the women are not directed, so when this force is activated, it doesn't come out like we feel in the morning lesson, like focused and pushing forward like a hunch. What's the right way to use to activate the women's CLE so it will return to the men's CLE, to the world CLE? In general, a woman has to feel that she comes out to the women lesson under some pressure from her men, and when she comes back she has to feel like she's giving back all that power and direction that she has received. That's the first thing. Secondly, we should also see it on children if it's already possible to transmit something to them. But women are very, very serious, very responsible for everything that we have to do together. Then people, it's very diverse. There are women who are participating in the lesson now, veteran women. On the other hand, there are women who just joined Now so what's the right treatment I'll let? Say if you had the strength to treat to take care of women, what's the right consistent treatment of women that would advance all of us? I don't know, you're asking all of a sudden a very big and deep question, and I have to now turn into that to answer that. I don't know, but I think that it first depends on the attitude of their men. The more a person the man will turn to his wife and demand it from her and speak to her and be close to her like a partner, then accordingly you'll see a change of attitude. And in relation to it, final question, you said you're not demanding of your women devotion. You said they have natural devotion, but you're not demanding of them devotion. What should we demand of them? Demanding devotion from the woman is that she will be devoted to the group and her husband and the lessons and the talks that they're participating in. So it means demanding seriousness from the woman with regards to that. Beyond that, there are other things. When we start getting closer to each other begins the matter of the spiritual work, and where the man is capable, the woman has to come and help him and support him, without which he won't be able to hold the CLE. And in general, how they discover it, man, woman, and between them, how they discover that together. What is that CLE between them together? That's not simple. Yes, just want to point out that the majority of women you saw yesterday are not married to men who are here. Either they are married to someone who's not on the path, or they're not married altogether. Yes, the solution of working together between a man and a woman who were rewarded, the solution that we is a solution that we see that it always works, but we need also a solution for our clay, for the world clay in general. In that sense, for the women in general, not to specific women. That's correct. We should find a solution for that. But again, there should be a man should have a woman, and then he has to build a CLE with her. I'm speaking of this topic until a few months ago, there was a group of friends who took the initiative and organised a meeting of singles or of couples, which was a great blessing. It picked up initially, but very quickly lost interest. It's actually the core of a couple in didn't come to these meetings, the couples that came, so it was a platform that could have developed. I think that on the part of men there's not enough importance to cultivating their relationships. Each one works at home and they don't use this social platform, and we learn that the power of the group is a meaningful one, and we run away from this place and look for our own corners where I'm supposed to succeed in doing something, and I feel like we're missing out here. Maybe we should take that direction and pick it up again. Might be, could be. Yes, while we're on the subject, I'd like to share my impression from yesterday, something closer to the spiritual. The way I see it, there's a great deficiency on the part of the women, and also in the exert that was read in the beginning about the nuclear. She is a special force, and there's a connection of mal with the human, which together raise a prayer and raise man and cause a coupling. I don't really know about this, but that's what I read, and what I felt was that there really was a deficiency. Maybe it's not very scrutinized, but from the male part, which is our pin, I didn't feel it like it wanted to connect to the and raise man. That's my impression. Okay. Yes, in the morning lessons you direct us to work with a common deficiency, feel the deficiencies of others, and we work in a way that we become more impressed with the deficiencies of the friends, and from this we grow and awaken the lesson and liven the lesson. In the noon lessons I don't feel like it's the same atmosphere. There each one comes with his own deficiency, and we don't feel the common work like we do here. Noon lesson is a number of groups, if I can say. You can say that from overseas, and women from both overseas and from Israel. I feel that there's less an atmosphere of connection in the lesson. There is a different atmosphere, yes, and maybe that's the reason for the difference, because for decades we've been learning to work together out of unity, and in the noon lesson it's not as felt. That's why it's more difficult to participate in this lesson. Maybe listening, but participation. There are many people who want to ask many questions, and each one wants to scrutinize his own deficiency, but there's no one collecting these deficiencies into 1 and the articles are also a lot shorter. Here we read 30 minutes 45 minutes and connect around the same topic that accompanies us for a long time, and that also gives us a strong feeling. So here these are the points that I can see in terms of the differences between the morning lessons and the noon lessons. That's true. What to do? I don't see an ability to change things unless the audience will change in terms of the noon lesson, but the way it is today, that's how it will be. Always has kind of a studying during the break, so to speak. Okay, we'll think about how to strengthen the noon lesson and how to connect the friends, men and women, in a more unified way. Okay, that's it. Yes. What's the difference between demanding help from the creator or demanding from the so I can't get into these details now. Demand, what does it matter? Everything is a demand from the creator. Yes, if a person feels like he still was not rewarded with it, means he did something wrong along the way, right? Maybe he think that he didn't need help, or maybe he didn't make enough efforts. Many such questions. Yes, so what does he do with the feeling that he's doing something many times but gets no result? What's the conclusion you should draw? Probably something principal, something central escaped him. Engagement in the to shouldn't it organize, arrange a person. I don't know what you mean to engage in the to. If he comes here and falls asleep on the chair, that's it. No, he says before he begins in the to, he should bless in the to, ask from the to correction for light before he engages in it, otherwise it'll become a curse. So what he reads the blessing of the to, or what? No, it means he should organize his intention before he studies. Yes, and let's assume a person makes the intention before he studies. What does it mean? It means he comes to the study with a deficiency. He comes with the deficiencies with their friends to demand from the tar, not just nice phrases for the intellect, but for the light of the Torah to come and change him and change his intentions. And when he leaves, he is that as he came in, he came out. What's missed along the way? What did he miss? Probably his intention first of all should be checked, and whether he realized that intention. Did he connect with the friends to a single desire, single direction tendency towards one goal, and they supported each other and established the connection between them as a single desire, as a single vessel, and that's how he continued after all of a person's actions. He made efforts, he overcame, he has connected in the end. There has to be like a click of help from the creator, and then the creator will help him. Yes, so this kind of vessel is first in connection between them. But there's something that doesn't depend on a person. He can do whatever he wants. The end, if he doesn't get help from above, it won't help him, of course. So what should he do in order for the creator to help? Because sometimes it seems like you're doing everything and he doesn't help, so you haven't done any. Everything there is to do. That's nature. Must there be a state where if a person does everything the creator has to help him, of course you mustn't even think that this cannot happen. Simple as that. Yes. You've about the women's convention. Yesterday I wanted to say that I felt there was a lot of pain, a lot of demand, some very scrutinized and precise, some dispersed but of looking and seeking in the dark. What to do? And here in the morning lesson with the men, things are more clear, precise, going in a direction. But I have the feeling that those are a missing component of pain. Here we can take this pain that is tangible and work with it. My question is, how do we take this pain that is felt from our women and advance with it? Us men, you can incorporate in that pain, you can incorporate in it. Try to feel a little what a woman, how much from earth, from your attitude, from the attitude to her life. She feels herself alone. She has no other way to approach the creator but through her husband, and in truth it's the same for the husband, except we don't think about it much. We forget that a person is really called half a body, that it's not, that doesn't seem to belong to spiritual work if you're not married, and so on and so forth. Is it correct that if a woman would be able to pass her pain to the man, to her man, it will really help him? It will help us all. It depends on the man and not on the woman. A woman is ready to influence man with her pain, but the question is man ready to absorb it and to respond to it? What attitude does a man need to have to be able to absorb such a pain? He needs to feel responsibility, pain regarding how much he owes our woman, and he doesn't get to it, he disrespects. Men naturally disrespect a woman. Disparage is a woman, we know it. That's why this is mostly men's work. What is the help against him? How does he use it in truth in this pain? I think that first of all you need to understand that if they don't connect, they don't attain this wholeness too. They again thank you. How does a man whose wife is not on the path, or a wife, a woman who doesn't have her husband that's working on the path, how should one work with it? Tell them a little bit about what's happening in spirituality, what's happening with us, how much we need to be closer. Another, I do share it. My wife's not on the path. Sometimes she doesn't want to listen, sometimes she feels coerced by it. But it's not easy. Yes, I understand you. Nevertheless, we need to try and fulfill her as much as possible, as if unrelated to the group, but indirectly. My work in the 10, I more or less know we connect, we read workshops, and with my wife what do we do? What do I need to also study? I have to also do some kind of spiritual work. He used to see Rabash and how he studied with his girls, his daughters, right? He read the articles to them, the same articles he wrote for us. Okay, so with my wife I can also read and even talk about the article. Of course you can do everything with the woman, could be totally open with her, even the article from the morning, and of course there are no boundaries there with a woman. What does that add to a person? That he goes with his wife on this path. He prepares for himself a complete. He will come more ready, or for the Creator to influence him through the woman. This is extremely important. You can find in the Torah all kinds of customs, seemingly, where if man lacks this partner, the woman as a partner, he cannot advance. Okay, what way is the connection between a man and his wife, and a man and his friends in his tea? How are those different? It's completely different with his wife. A man can be connected without any limitations, whereas with the friends he always needs to be on guard how much he's being open or closed, he speaks or not. But there he carries out other commandments. The connection there is in the 10 between men and the 10 does it not cover. What else does it add for him? That connection with his wife? No, it doesn't cover everything. The woman nevertheless gets involved more internal actions of a person. What does he take out of there from for his spiritual work? Do you extract anything he feels it in his heart directly right away, straight in his heart? I can't even express it. A couple that study, a man has his 10, his wife has her 10, they read Rash, and all that they each advance in their way. What's in the connection between them? What else can you take from that connection between them? A person feels an additional vessel in the connection with a woman, truly an additional vessel. How is this created? From connection with a woman out of the routine meeting on a daily basis, or some additional connection between them, and how each time they connect no one is making contact with the other internally. Again, thank you. What exercises can you do between spouses? Because we have in the 10 complete articles how to relate and pick such articles that are worthwhile of studying with a woman. Beyond the study towards the friends, how we learn one relate from above, one from below, inequality, and to see their merits and faults, etc. Are there more specific things or unique matters that spouses should work with? What do you have here that you are not allowed to do with a woman? Not that it's prohibited, but we understand that there are certain changes, there are certain differences. That in the convention I was very impressed by it. I feel like I don't have such a desire. Maybe a man brings like me more precision or guidance, but what can you do? What kind of exercises can you do between us spouses that can maybe help in this matter? I don't know, I need to think about it, but in truth you can do the same exercises as you do amongst yourself in the tea. Try to think about it, try to talk about it, start discussing it. You'll see how many questions you have in there, and if you have or solutions, or you don't, but just understand that without this vessel we're not coming even close to the corrections, because we are in the time of the end of correction. It's extremely dependent on the connection between men and women. That's why we see women who are so advanced and so demand. Really, if without this CLE we can't advance and reach the end of correction, Why don't we devote time to this topic? Altogether, I have to ask you, why are you asking me? You're like little kids with a nanny. You throw everything in me. Well, there's a system that defines the study material and what to devote time to. Yet the side I don't know. Let's say yesterday I came to the lesson, I saw before me an article. That's how it is each time, also every morning. Would you want to have such lessons that talk concretely about the relations between? I want nothing. I want you to know that everything is in your hands, and the connection between men and a woman, especially today, we see it from every area in the world. We should not let go of it for us to have such lessons. Say Saturday afternoon, there are many women to talk about this topic, maybe together, yes or no. It should be clear to everyone. It should be the scrutiny of the CLE of the vessel of each, and everyone participated a lot, almost a year, in the meetings with the relationship, and I also work in the 10. What I felt the most was that it's not two different worlds. It's two things that complement and complete one another in a very intensive manner. These are scrutinies that rose in me. I feel like they advanced me in the work in the 10 greatly. I think that if we were to participate more and with our wives in this mutual work, we will fly into spirituality. Thank you. Say something. I think what we're mostly missing, and I think you're trying to help us with this, is our independence, and it's expressed in this as well. We could feel it with the women yesterday as well. They're always waiting for something to come out of your mouth to demand for you to bless them on this, or you to push, and then they're certain that something will come out. We as a society are lacking the independence that you're trying to give us for years, to take an idea, to take something meaningful and important and raise it up with our own forces. If you don't push and you don't raise it, even if it starts, it doesn't hold water. So how do we come out of this mess in relations and other things? Only if you announce that this is the order of the day and we're working on it, then it suddenly succeeds. As a society, we would very well will start. I demand of you. What do I need to demand? I don't know. In this case, we're talking about giving importance to relationships and other women power, and how we uplift this. It could be in other things as well, but our independence is completely missing. It's like you're trying to release us, and we're holding on to your skirt and not letting go. Yes, talk about it, right? And I will see in what way we can advance. First of all, you suggested that if there would be a convention for bachelors and bachelorettes, that you would be there. You suggested it in the beginning of the lesson. You said that you are willing to participate. First of all, they don't come if you're not there, much less come. And the other thing is the refinements of what this is and what it means, that you're seeking a partnership relations. It was a verse that it was something that you said, and I'm really asking, especially now, as far as you always say that women need to demand of men, and today for the first time I'm hearing that we actually need to demand something of the women. What is that? Participation. We need to demand participation as much as possible. That's it, a little beyond desire. Can you start and see what are you trying to get out of me? Can I ask something about the article? Is it really no longer? No, sorry, but I didn't hear in the convention about relationship. I heard a desire that wants a change in the world, that wants to reveal a better world, that wants to bestow to the world. I didn't hear anything about relationships there, and that's the correct desire to which we need to connect, both male and female, which we need to ask for correction. I don't know how to describe it, but that's what's missing. Okay, again, just to strengthen what the friend just said right now. Yesterday, you could really feel it. There is a certain immense force burst, and how to do better for the world, and we seem to be concentrating on different things that weren't mentioned yesterday, and we really need to listen of what was said yesterday. They asked yesterday for help from us, from the men, how to come outwards in the most beneficial way to the world, and that's what we need to hear, and that's what we need to concentrate our attention to think about. There were many questions there to give answers, and not in some www something. We need to truly connect the questions, and they're to go out to the world and concate on that. No, there's natural devotion, and there's devotion that comes naturally, and it doesn't come from couples. So I wanted to ask if there's some special power towards the CLE, the society, the world. That needs to specifically come from couples, yes, man and a woman, and between the meaning it's one unit, and from such unit the complete vessel will be assembled, and then with their depth, efficiency they rise up to the Creator, higher and higher. I can take an example from this world that if a husband and wife raise children together and they do it correctly, so this contributes to the whole world. That's their common work. That's certain. Certainty are there things that are more, or are they different, or more external, or more internal, that they can also in such a way be to everyone just around that a lot. I can say that personally I heard a lot of deficiencies yesterday also about relations, also about the whole world and everything, and it's clear that everything is connected to everything. But if I were to take a small part of what you said today on this topic as far as nature is concerned men naturally disparage women, and the question is how do we work on this so that we are obliged to not disregard women. Each of us works today on this. Is it also the work that we do in the 10? Is this topic even supposed to come to be expressed in some way and be scrutinized, and if so, how? We need to be first of all connected, and from this connection between us we need to for each one to accept his wife. Also anyone who's not married should get married and start a family and be in this connection more and more. But the connection begins from a person who is looking for connection with the Creator. From that he connects to the woman, and with her he establishes a home as we call it, and they connect more and more in such a way. This the work that each of us on this path is trying to do with himself, but in the personal matters of work in relations, and it's clear that it's more complex. Some of them, both of them, are on the path, and some of them, only one of them is, and there's all kinds of combinations of that. That's not something that we bring to a conversation in the 10. We don't, even in our weekly meeting, we don't raise this, because the question is whether it's even correct, or if that's according to the demand of a certain public. It's okay to change the topic a little bit. I wanted to ask about how we study in the morning. It seems like you're trying to put some kind of direction where we're making this more into a discussion, some kind of group kind of work where a person asks you, another answers, and you guide things. I would like for us to improve in this and do it better. What is that direction? You're not participating. Someone is asking, the second may be asking, the others fall asleep. It seems to me like we're a little short from this new approach, and that's why I want a little guidance. How do you think it needs to happen? Because it seems like you're truly guiding us in this direction. I would love to get there, but I also don't know what to do, because it depends on how much each and everyone wants to actively participate in the lesson. But how does it need to be? Let's say a friend rises with a question, then another friend answers him from what he feels, and then the R hears it and guides it in a way that if it's not correct, how does it need to happen? The main thing is the participation. The main thing is to participate. All the friends here and around the world will participate in the absorption of the material. I want to give an example that's a little confusing, let's say, or stand up and ask a question. They're like veteran instructors. They're excellent. If a student were to come and ask the same question but they asked you, they would give an amazing answer. Yeah, but there's something in this that the friend is asking are, and the whole world seemingly is connecting to this deficiency. It could be even it's an answer that we are hearing for 20 years. There's still something that Ra is answering. It's like we're guiding ourselves together, we're advancing together as a society. So sounds weird to me that now Gilad's gonna stand up and ask a question, and I'll answer it, because altogether we know how to answer the question. Gilad's asking, Gad himself knows how to answer the question. There's something in us asking and answering, even if it's the same question every day. It feels, you feel like the lights operating, and oh, we're advancing. It's weird for me to stand up and ask a question and have or answer an answer to question. I'm simply asking, what's the right way to approach this? Because it's special, it's new, it's fascinating. We want that this path or this approach comes from the need to bring you closer to the discussion, to participation, to questions and answers. Together, this together should awaken in you what needs to be together. In other words, the center of the scrutiny between You everyone is drawn to it, everyone wants to be incorporated in it. We read every day the Rash article. Together in the 10 we prepare ourselves for the next day, so we read, we also do a certain prayer before the reading, and then we share a little bit of impressions, what was innovated in me, what I didn't understand, and then really, in the intimacy of the 10 there's like several years that we know one another. There is a little of what you're describing, a certain discussion, a scrutiny, but that intimacy really enables it here. It's huge. There's a microphone you have to take, and there's a camera, and the world CLE, and the presence of the R. It's kind of a little feels weird to do this discussion, especially with the presence of the R, because nevertheless you can feel that there's an answer that may be a little intellectual answer we're used to hear, but there's a spiritual power in the answer that you answer that's different. Okay, I will try to come out from such scrutinies into more connected scrutinies. What a team or group scrutinies. Let's see, lately let's talk about during the period of time that we had workshops, if you'd give us some kind of exercise and then explain a little bit of what you're expecting us to do. So may now, when you give us this kind of a moment to discuss, maybe guide us a little bit how to improve in it. Maybe we want to follow your guidance now that you're showing us, so give us a little bit, like a little advice on how to do it. We need to portray for ourselves a society that includes individual 10s, and these individual 10s scrutinize inside of them what influences the connection between them, or what disturbs the connection between them inside each and every 10, and then also what connects the 10s, because those are already different forces, not what exists only in the T. And so how do we connect all of our 10s into one big 10 in this big group, as we call it, a camp, and this way will advance. So this is the first thing that we need to scrutinize. It should be clear to us, what is the goal, what are we drawn to, and in what way do we reach it, using which forces, in which actions you have connection of men, connection of women, connection of families. That's how we'll advance. But that's what we're lacking. We're lacking what we need is to renew and reinforce the connections between us in our 10. We made our determination that there's a time during the day, the evening before the lesson, to discuss the lesson. That was if we have questions that were accumulated throughout the day, so we tried to scrutinize them, and we still don't manage to really come to certain discussion. And now, according to what you said, the question is, how do we come to such a discussion, and what we need to scrutinize between us to truly take this out towards the broader connection in the CLE with the women, CLE with the T. What needs to happen in this discussion between us, that is to go out towards the discussion, has to include the problem of connection between men, between women, and these two camps. How should they somehow be connected? I don't know what else to add. I think we need to nevertheless look into Rash's articles and see what he's doing there. Is he touching? Has he touched it? Continued Danny, how to not be afraid to confuse the friends in this discussion. I don't know what to tell you, and you have to explore that. You have to explore that and discuss. And how do you add to that, benefit to that? What does R expect of us when he says, right now give an answer to a friend? What is R expecting from us at that moment for us to truly answer or give an impression to the matter? Or in what intellectual manner, direction do I go at that moment? I don't know, depends on the problem we have here on the table. Thank you. Can questions from women as well, from women. P27 there, asking a woman who studies in devotion, can she come to complete correction if she has a husband that does not study? Yes, also asking together with women. German, how does a woman who her husband does not study, how should she relate to him and to her spiritual path? We must disseminate or express or project love toward our partner. P31 they're asking, how did Kabbalists relate to their wives externally? That was during different times. It's hard for us to imagine that this lifestyle back then. It's not an example for us women. P6, if this is natural for man and woman would be together, then why aren't women obliged to get married? How will we create a strong group? This was truly in the ancient times that a woman wasn't obligated to do it, and it's not like they don't want it. They want It we are at a time today of whether a woman wants to get married or not, because she has freedom, work, and a house, and she lacks nothing to with which to fill her time with. So the question of whether or not to be married it's not a burning issue like it was back in the days. So we need to make sure we have a desire also to fail women, and they'll that we have to give them the woman you acquire. It says it's Britain, and that depends on the man from New York. They're asking, and we hear that it's important for a man to get married, but nevertheless it's very difficult for many friends to get married. I want you to ask, is there a justified reason for a man not to get married? No, only his ego, and also for a woman our time. We are almost equal in this sex. Does it bother the group that there are women that are not married in the group? Lie, can't tell. I don't think so. I don't think that much from women. Turkey 8. As women, how will we be able to study seriously like the men? How can we? Everything is open. I have nothing to say. We can really do everything. Time to that's it for now. Know the blessing of the Torah that we read in the article. It's connected to the matter of connection between us, where we come with a lack. That's the feeling that the whole examination towards the Creator that the friend asked the beginning of lesson, that he disappears. He gave us the work with the friends so that we will work with the friends. Also the whole lesson was around listen to the friends, be in an effort to feel together the lesson, this connection, which is our central problem. Somewhat men are a little bit more successful in this in the lesson. Again, the feeling is that for women it's a little bit more difficult for them to connect. Yes, is this central problem. That's a problem of connection all around the world. Do we need to open this pipeline to the men so that they will take the locks for connection and work with them as well? It's like we're being told the connection you've attained is not yet being broadcasted outwards. You still have a need. I think that yes. Is there a form, a way to draw this lack outwards into our lesson, into the morning lesson from the outside, or is it enough that we've connected and that immediately impacts outwards? Yes, and a change in US influences the entire world. Okay, friends, what needs to be the correct attitude towards our bachelors in the society in order to kind of encourage them to take an action? Rush couldn't stand bachelor singles. He couldn't stand him, would always tell us how, wouldn't let him attend lessons. He didn't want to have any unmarried men in his lessons. It's the reverse. People come married and then they get a divorce. I think we shouldn't tolerate such actions. We need to obligate each and every one of our friends to be married, the family, and to have a job and to care for his family. Without that, he lacks a sufficient commitment in life. Okay, no questions on that. Right, Ken? Orant, hello, good morning, dear R. Morning. We do you get the strength to be a good husband to your wife in a study from our Creator? Say the role, let's say compared. Let's say to the 10, can the 10 give that support to your wife, or does your wife give support to the 10? How does that work? The 10 should support to ask the Creator for the power to arrange everything in the family. Again, Ra, can I ask another question? Again, yes. Danny Weisfeld asked a very interesting question about, let's say, this new approach which you are bringing to us at the moment. How can the world see be more like, let's say, included, let's say, in the actual moment in the discussion and involved? But it's very interesting that we can truly add, let's say, add in the moment, because the discussion is very actual. Just have to care more about the common vessel, because we expect that there the Creator will reveal himself and his entire system will be revealed there. That's it. We need to be more aimed at the center of our vessel, individual vessel, to a more general vessel, more and more general. That's it. That's where we reveal this lad, but at least regarding the foundation of the latter, the individual 10 of each, and every friend has to be properly organized. Okay, if I can continue this, I think that in the internal intention we need to be in connection in our 10 and connect the whole CLE, but in our interaction in the lesson, there's a certain perplexity here. We also talked about this in our 10 watts, the expectation of array, where a person stands and you say, I want you to be partners with me in the lesson. Yes, so Person stands up and throws out a question. Another one stands and says an impression we see in relation in the attitude that you have to it. Sometimes you don't have patience. We see about ourselves that sometimes someone asks, women ask, and it just gets them angry. And so it's not clear along together as far as the participant and also from us who are listening what attitude we need to have here. Do we need to try and feel the common deficiency and ask actually only what will advance us? How do we need to work with suddenly? I have a question that we feel that's diverting us from it, and it's really annoying. Of course, I'm interested in keeping the lesson as focused as possible, as connected, as directed toward our center, and from our center to the center of creation. That's it. So we need to quickly locate those directions and make room for discussions about these things. New York, to thank you are going back to what you were saying earlier, that the men need to demand this devotion from our women. We have wives on the path. Are 10 and not all of them are in the same 10, the same woman's tea. Can we demand our wives to be in the same tea, and would that help amplify this needed devotion? For the time being we won't to be able to live up to that. It's not that important. We share the same general goal, the same general power that covers us and pulls us forward. So we shouldn't be so meticulous about that, because otherwise we'll have to break down many tens and we're not going to get what we need from that good morning our every day in the 10. We do a prayer to the Creator to connect us. Pray need to be also between man and his wife to the Creator connect us. Yeah, you can read something together, special verse, something that touches the heart. That's good. You said the men hear people come married and leave, then become divorced. What is this? Is the Creator separating between men and women, or is it the ego between us? Other than in addition to the ego, it's also different nature that men and women have. We have to overcome that and make out of each and every couple single vessel. And this is spiritual work. Spiritual. Even if you are working on it corporally, it's nevertheless spiritual work. That's the uniqueness of it. Woman English 1. Sheila, good morning. I hear you talk about a lot about couples women were studying and not married, and it pains me when I hear this, because we don't know how to pray for women who are not married, and I'm in that category. I've been married for 19 years in the past, and I want to be married again, but I don't want to make a mistake, and I don't even know where to start, and I'm pretty sure there are other women like me. Can you pray for us, or can you give us some kind of direction? Need to think about it. I'm not extremely well versed in it and understand enough about it to answer you, but let's study this issue together from the wisdom of Ab and the tour, and we'll come to the right solution. Okay, I wanted to say that from experience in the communities of unmarried men and women, the experience of the past pressures a person so greatly that he cannot relate with faith to the relations that should be their certain burden, a certain transition, some insult that happened. It really hasn't impact. Maybe we're missing the tools to advance. Maybe you can give us new tools to work with the experience of the best. First of all was divorce, and if there were kids involved, he didn't even want to hear about it. You should suffer, tolerate it till the end of your life, but you shouldn't even think in that direction of getting a divorce. That was his view. That's one thing. The other thing is that you must reach love for the woman, because the Torah and the Creator obligate you this way. You must reach love, and from disclosing love to her, she will disclose love toward you. The men is charged. It's incumbent upon him to start and do everything, so I don't see any problem there for us. Man, we just need to learn how to do it and accept it as a mitzvah, as a commandment. Getting a divorce, it's as is written in the Torah, the place of the connection between man and the Creator cries over him, sheds tears of him. In short, it's highly unrecombined greatest social problems of our time. That's confusion in society. That comes into all kinds of forms that make everyone suffer. We don't even know what it means to be in a society where there's a good connection between men and women, a result of the shattering of the vessel. Let us hope we restart our correction in that. You asking? Yeah, not microphone. Give him a mic. Can I measure? And then ask measure. What then? First, yeah. Thankful I need to thank to this society, to the creator that through the society, I received a woman that is so powerful she watches me connected to this society with a strong deficiency and straight and pure every day to come to the lesson with our big desire, and that comes straight from my wife. We want all our friends to find such a wife that we will all be able to be whole. Our request towards the to bring his light to this world I can ask in English. I'm sorry, when I arrived in 2016 or something like that, I believe in the around this time in 2017 I asked a question about the importance of marriage, and you gave pretty much you said by sh I want the single men to be to find a woman and they should be engaged or married by that time, and there was a great result. Many friends found a strong woman. They have a wonderful connection to this day, healthy thriving children that value connection above all else, and perhaps you could give a push like this towards the single men, and also the women will feel the importance of serving the men in the CLE with their desire. Look, I'll tell you only one thing. I don't have the energy, and I think the time of me pressuring the society is gone, and you are capable of running this society, organizing it, uniting it, and pull it forward. So of course I seemingly let go of those things, and I'm not applying pressure. I'm not treating you like a kindergarten here, but you have to do it yourselves. I don't even know who's married, who's not married. Kid, how many kids each one has, so on so forth. But you're a big society, and you need to be a diverse society. Society has to care about its foundation and make it as suitable as possible to approaching the creator. Okay, so try to arrange it, to organize it, to guide it, and you have to do it every once in a while. Ask by through which action is there the exchange of deficiency between a man and woman, like an active action that a man can receive the deficiency from a woman by helping her out. You can then receive the deficiency from her. That's my effort. And from the other side, there's a specific effort to give as much as you want to help a woman. The more deficiency you get from her. We're already on the topic, so it just seems to me this way. I want to know if it's correct. There are women that are doing work in the tens, and they amazing women with great forces. Seems like the power there, and the light does a different impact on men and women. Like the men in the tent can come into some calm to enter a certain confidence and be like, and then with the women at the work brings them to more excitement, more pain, more the heart opens up, something different happens. There is that right, is that thing right? Is that the right discernment? And there I know why you even turning to me with such questions. Man, women, families, you need to scrutinize that with the creator. Really, I don't know what to. I feel uncomfortable just listening to it. There are such rabbis like these things, but I'm not a rabbi. I don't. I'll say why, 'cause there's a new thing here that's, I think it's new in humanity altogether. The work of men in the it's new in our generation. Maybe at one point in Moses' time. I don't know that men are working intense, very intensive work, and also women are working intense, very intensive work. That is the structure of the society today, and that's why I'm asking if there's a difference that you discern or notice in the work in men of men and women, because they're all working on connection. They're all reading the same article. Women are with us together. They're connected to the morning lessons. If not alive, then during the day they hear it, and it's all the same thing. But nevertheless, it seems like there's a difference in development, that the way the light operates on a man and woman is different. What's the difference between this and that? I don't know. I think that men are advancing faster than women, but women move more deeper than men. So it turns out that a woman builds the vessel in depth and a man builds it in height, but I don't know exactly how to put it into words. No more questions than you. I once heard from you that a man draws the forming light and a woman receives it through her husband through a man. Yes, is there a change in that? No, but those are technical things. Even if men don't enter into the same action together with a woman, you in our time, it's a little more diverse. A question, what's the advice that you could give to us in order to keep or reach a state of peace in home? Cancel yourself completely and make concessions to the women. Try it like that. We'll do what you want. That's it. Where do you get the fours It's one thing to give up yourself, but the ego doesn't even play there anymore. How to come to the fact that from the understanding that it's one CLE from the understanding of the importance of everything we talked about. How to come to being partners on this path, to not have disturbances that deviate us from the work with our women to a state of man and woman, between them. Rewarded said comes from the word said, meaning fine as little coarseness between them it's possible. I don't know, I think that you should take certain articles by rush short ones and very practical and read them together. What should we think about together when we're reading? How will we realize it between us? Yes, besides that, just know the more we lower our heads, the more you gain out of it, the more you profit. Know about the connection between T. For several years we're learning about how we will make a connection between us and the 10. It depends on the deficiency of each friend and aiming at the benefit of others all together. How to start putting such an action between 10 so each 10 will be real do towards another 10. Another 10 talk about it and do it. It's possible. Okay, guys, you give us lessons on the internality of their TH. You can see, like today, a person has many other topics in life that he needs answers. That's in the matters of families and other things, and we have only one address, and that's the RAF, and others have an expert for this. This no knows about families, the other one knows about other things, and they have many people that can help, and it's kind of like a big world you can approach, and each is an expert on his topic, and we can also expand things. Here are all the problems we have in the work, in our jobs, in the family. We all come to the R with everything. Is there a solution that you think that we could come to? Maybe even an additional thing that we're hearing lately that maybe we will have to learn more about the how we should behave on Sabbaths and other religious matters, and how we observe such a lifestyle as well. There's also questions about that. Who will teach us all that? Can Ra teach all those topics? Of course. So that's a question. How can we, when you're our only our what? How to? I also don't think I'm a Ra rabbi. I'm a true rabbi. Good his students' lives towards the purpose of creation. I'm connected to you this way. I don't know how to arrange all these things, besides that I don't know how long I'm going to be alive. You need to learn how to direct yourselves by yourselves and bring yourselves towards the correction. That's what I'm saying. So let's relate it seriously in the middle line. You can ask, you can scrutinize it with me between you, but ultimately you need to learn how to behave in life. That's it. What do you have today? Talk about women. The lesson is gone again. Well, we will invite our friends to our Unity Day that will take place on Saturday, March 23rd. Increasing the joy, a Unity Day. For registration and details, enter the site. Convention, CETA 1 on Saturday, 23rd of March. It's a Sunday at 6:30 p.m. There will be a World Cab, a world gathering of friends. Physically gathering in. That's today. I'm sorry, we're having our gathering of friends. Men, women above 18 years of age can come to the centre and participate today. The broadcast will be Facing the Truth, the Future. 11 afternoon lesson at noon at 5:30. Reading the study of T of 6:30. The gathering of friends at 7:30. Reading the Zohar. We'll conclude the song There's a Calling Deep Inside. Together we can hear through the fire. We will find a place face above the fear. A melody in every heart is waiting to be heard. We will sing with one desire. His song will fill the word for SH, SH, for you, for he.